It's just page 1 through 6.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'll have to, no, the attachment that's in your board docs.
Okay.
The attachment of the actual guidelines that's in your board docs, I'm sorry, that's what I was referring to.
Okay, okay. So SPED, each school has at least one unless they have too many students.
Yes, sir.
My next question takes into account the duties of that lead teacher. Accommodations. SPED is a protective classification of student, and as those classified students take different certifications, get different credentials, various other tests being in, you know, English, science, math, when accommodations are needed, who's responsible for that? Will this lead teacher that is getting paid extra be responsible for submitting those accommodations through the website that is very cumbersome, and we're putting all this extra work on our classroom teachers? Will that lead teacher be responsible for all these accommodations that are very involved, since she is being paid above and beyond a classroom teacher?
Yes, sir. I'm going to defer to Dr. Younger on this one.
Okay, thank you.
That's a great question. This really is more of an administrative type role. They're going to be asking them to perform some additional duties. So all of the accommodations, all of that will still be the responsibility of the individual classroom teachers. This is just helping them, you know, we've got a lot of new teachers, so they might need some extra assistance creating the IEPs, or they might need help understanding what an accommodation actually looks like in the classroom. So that would be the support that this teacher this lead teacher would provide.
Okay, I'd like to have additional conversations around that offline, not bring it up here in open, but to get some additional insight, please. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You got it. Anybody else? Questions on agenda item number 2?
Make a motion. Pardon me.
You're good with that, Mr.
Make
Boyd?
a motion that we approve the request as specified.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bullard. Second by Mr. Bertrand. Can we just do show of hands in these? That's okay. Okay, show of hands of approve. Okay. Anyone against? Okay. Everyone's good. All right, thank you.
Verbal as well.
Okay, we'll do verbal as well. All right. I guess we say a verbal aye for aye or nay. So all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you, Mr. Newman. All right, we'll go to number 3. Back to you, Ms. Bamberg.
Okay. Tonight we are excited to present our guidelines for the differentiated compensation funding for the district for this year. As y'all may remember, this is the 3rd year we've had this funding come through. So this funding is very specific from the state, and it can only address one of 4 areas. And we have used this funding in the past to address several of those areas, but basically the intent is to create a differentiation in compensation for those areas that they feel like may have higher demands. In the past, we've used it for higher poverty schools because of some of the challenges they may encounter. In the past, we've used it for teacher leadership. We've used it in different areas. Well, tonight, we're also wanting to address what's considered by the state a critical shortage area of special education. And so this would be specific for special education teachers. So there's kind of 3 areas that we're addressing within the special education, or 3 buckets of the special education teachers that we would be addressing. The first one's going to be for the classroom teachers of special education that are in the specialty classrooms, in the transition program, and in our ECSC, early childhood classrooms of special education. And so what we would be asking for would be a supplement of $2,500 for them for the entire year to be paid out in 2 separate payments. Again, a payment in January for the first semester, and a payment in June for the second semester of work for those that did serve in those areas. The second area that we're looking at is for the special education teachers in the non-specialty classrooms. So those that are in those generic or inclusion-type classrooms, that would be what we would have there. And that total recommendation for that supplement is $1,500 total, again, to be paid out in 2 separate payments during the year. The third one is a payment specific to the teachers that are at the GREAT program. We've talked to y'all several times about the GREAT program that we've established for those high-need children within the special education department. And so since this is approved as a critical shortage area by the state, this is an allowable use of this funding and something that we think would help address the needs within the district.
Mr. Bullard?
Ms. Bamberg, just to clarify, these are funds that are provided to us.
Yes, sir.
This will not require any distribution of our locally generated funds.
Yes, sir. This is fully funded through the differentiated compensation money from the state.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have any questions? Ms. Smith makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Committee as a whole. You're good. You're in that for you, but that's today's right. All right, I don't know if it's phone. We'll go Mr. Bertrand, second. All those in favor, just with a show of hands. Anyone opposed? Okay, verbal.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you so much. All right, on to the next one, Ms. Bamberg.
All right. This is the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire. We bring this to you each year. It's a requirement from the state legislative auditor that we complete this questionnaire, have the board affirm the questionnaire, and then present it to our auditors for part of our financial audit for the year. And so we've completed that audit. We've provided you a copy of the questionnaire completed with those answers. And tonight we're asking your approval of this questionnaire.
So moved.
We have a first by Mr. Bullard, second by Mr. Bachhaus. All those in favor, show hands. Anyone opposed? All right, verbal. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, we're good to go there. Okay, now we're on to the next one. Ms. Bamberg.
Yes, sir. Okay, so this is the transportation ER plan, and I've sent y'all some of this information, but as y'all know, Mr. McGee shared a lot of information during his last Transportation Committee meeting, and one of those things that he talked about was the ER plans. And those are the routes that the additional routes that the drivers are having to pick up when there's a shortage of bus operators for that day. And so we can run anywhere from, on one morning route, we ran 30 ER plans, all the way down to we may only have 5 ER plans during either a morning or an afternoon shift. And so we've seen a big difference in that, but the drivers are having to run, it seems like, more and more routes under this ER plan. And so the board has expressed concern about it. Mr. Gee has concern about it. And so what we came together on is a plan to begin compensating these drivers for these ER plans that they're having to do each day. And so it would be paid at a rate of $12.50 per run, which is in line with the salary schedule and the board-approved rates per run that we've paid for everything else. And Mr. McGee has done an excellent job in tracking the number of runs for September and for October to give us a good estimate on how many runs we're running per day and what that cost would look like. When he reran September, we redid the calculations. We're thinking it'll be between $60,000 and $65,000 total for the year, but we would like to begin compensating these drivers starting in January and following that plan. I know that Mr. McGee has already started working within his department to cut costs everywhere that he can so that he can help fund this program as much as he can out of his budget. But again, trying to be fair to these drivers for these additional runs that they're making.
I have a very simple question. What does ER stand for?
I'm assuming emergency route, but. Emergency response.
All right, well, I just was curious.
Had to ask the expert there.
Mr. Bullard?
Given the comments Mr. McGee made during his presentation a few weeks ago, I don't think we've got any choice. We really need to compensate. We need to reward these people who will take on
Yes, sir.
the routes.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he made it clear, I'm sorry, but in my estimation, the abuse of our leave policy. And here are individuals who are stepping up and taking up the slack.
Yes, sir.
And we don't make them do it, that this is a voluntary program. So I think, yes, we need to reward these people. It's not a lot, but they need to be compensated.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's just my 2 cents for whatever it's worth.
Do we have a motion or any questions?
Gets per day.
All right, we have first by Mr. Bertrand, a second by Mr. Wiggins. All those in favor? Oh, hold on one second.
Question?
Question by Mr.
Per run, morning, evening, or is it per day?
Per run.
Per
And
run.
so the morning is considered separate from the evening. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Mr. McGee wants to clarify one point on that.
Yes, I wanted to ask Mr. McGee, those runs, usually an extra run could be at minimum of 30 minutes to 40 minutes.
Our
probably.
average one is about 18 to 20 minutes. is
18 to
about the
20 minutes,
average.
okay.
But I did
Thank
want to
you.
clarify one thing. Those are not voluntary. They are told they have to cover those.
Right.
Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
that's-
Anybody else have any questions? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor by show of hand? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, by verbal, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed with a nay? Okay, thank you for that one. And now to number 6 for you, Ms. Bamberg.
Thank you. This is the consideration and action of the board on the selection ITEP application. I know it's been a little bit confusing because we've seen the last few ITEPs come through under the new rules. This one is going to be under the old rules. So in this particular one, we do need board action or board decision. If the board decides not to take any action, it will be considered by the state as approval of the ITEP from our position. So we are asking the board to consider this, but this is specific to selection, which deals within the telecommunication and data area. Selection has been within the parish for since 1998. They have had successful ITEPs in the past within the parish, and has, from what I understand, been a very strong community partner. And so this is for about $1.5 million of equipment outlay to expand an additional 14 bays at their production site. They do a lot of wood pole alternatives, and wood pole equivalents is what they're called, some enclosures and some pods within that telecommunication. I learned a whole lot about it. I still don't understand half of it, but Mr. Wiggy is here with that company if y'all have any specific questions for them on that. He can answer any questions probably better than I can if anybody has any.
Have any question?
I'd like to just make a comment.
Yes, sir.
They've been good community partners.
Yes, sir.
For a long time. They employ a lot of good people, and it's blue collar work. But there's a lot of, I know a number of individuals, you gave them work when no one else would, and they got their second chance in life. And they've become contributing members of society. Do a good job. I don't think we'll go wrong back in this company at all. They've got a good, solid record compared to a lot that we've looked at over the past.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Falting, did you have a question?
I was just going to piggyback on Mr. Floyd. I sat and listened to the city council approve it today, and Councilman Hammond made a big statement that they've been here over 30 years, lots of trials and tribulations, yet they chose to stick it out and stay here when they could have easily packed up and gone somewhere else and done a lot in the community. So we need a motion on that.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Falting,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Bullard. All those in favor, show hands. All right, that's everybody. And then by verbal, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bamberg. And that concludes the Finance Committee meeting.
I know you have the policy proposal in full that you received last week, but a couple of the differences you'll see, it distinguishes a difference between a seclusion room and a sensory room. A sensory room is something we use for our students for de-escalation, for emotion regulation, for calming, whereas a seclusion room is for students who may pose a risk of imminent harm to themselves or others. And so we are deciphering the difference between the two of those in that policy. But it also establishes a school health designee. After a student goes through a time of a physical restraint, it is listed that a person, a school health designee, should review the student to make sure that there aren't any injuries and that the student is in good health and good condition at that time. Well, we know that we don't have school nurses full-time on all of our campuses, and so internally in Bossier schools, we would recognize that our school health designee, in the absence of a school nurse, would be any of our employees that are CPR and first aid certified and have completed that training, which on most of our campuses would be a number of our paraprofessionals, oftentimes some of our office staff, perhaps even an administrator, and say they would be conducting that little health overview as needed if our school nurse is not present. Also, this policy will state that any seclusion or restraint that lasts less than 3 minutes is not included in this policy for these procedures that we're discussing. These would just be moments of seclusion or restraint that last longer than 3 minutes. So I want to make note of that. Also, we're asking your approval for those guidelines and procedures that is listed. And really what that is a document for our families and for internally for our employees to say during a time of seclusion or restraint for a student, these are the steps we're going to follow. This is the documentation we're going to provide to the student's guardian as well as to Dr. Younger and her department for documentation. And then also the timeliness of when we would complete those documents to have a record of the incident and how that was handled. And so any questions about the amendments? Again, this is a current policy we have. These are just some proposed amendments to be in compliance with Act 479 from the latest legislative session.
Questions for Ms. Spinney? Do I have a motion to approve the revision? We have a motion by Mr. Backhouse.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bertrand. All those in favor, show of hands. In verbal, everyone in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that one passes. We're going to move on to number 2, Ms. Spinney.
Okay, this is approval of the revision of policy IDDFC, our cameras in special education classrooms. If you'll recall, back in 22, I believe, there was a law that passed about a parent's ability to request a camera to be installed and turned on in our self-contained special education classrooms with audio and video. This new, again, Act 479 requires that we remove the portions of our policy about the parent request process and just says simply that those self-contained classrooms are required to have cameras and they are required to be turned on. So while we're updating our policy to reflect that, I just wanted to let you know that we've been in compliance with this before Act 479 was even passed for well over a year now, recognizing that was what was the best practice for both our employees and our students. So we have already implemented this, and so we're just updating our policy to reflect that. And so all we've done is removed the sections about the parents' process to request those cameras because they already are in place. So I'd ask for your approval of that amendment.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Darby.
Second.
A second by Mr. Bertrand. All those in favor, show of hands. Anyone opposed? Okay, verbal, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you, Ms. Spinney. Now we're on to your next one, number 3.
All right, number 3 is a revision of policy JDA, corporal punishment. Again, this also falls under Act 479, and all we did here was change the term. Anytime you see the term restraint in our existing policy, we added the word physical in front of it to describe that it is a physical restraint. There are means at other times, not within Bossier Parish, that people may use a mechanical restraint, but here this policy refers to physical restraint. And our employees that are CPI trained for de-escalation and physical restraints have specific holds, so where the student's not harmed, the employee is not harmed, and they're trained annually in those as well. So we're asking for an amendment to add the word physical in front of restraint in our corporal punishment policy.
So moved.
All have a motion by Ms. Darby, second by Mr. Faulting. All those in favor, show of hands. Anyone opposed? All right, verbal. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you so much. We're going to move on to agenda item number 4. Back to you, Ms. Spinney.
All right, this is the revision of two policies, JAA, the Equal Education Opportunities, and GAAA, Equal Employment Opportunity. And what this does is add, when we're looking at our equal opportunity, equal employee and education opportunities for both our students and employees, when it lists those that you cannot be excluded because of these reasons, we're adding this term military status. So that is now a statement that's added in both of those policies to reflect that they deserve those equal opportunities and cannot be excluded due to their military status.
Mr. Bertrand, a second by Mr. Faulting. All those in favor, show of hands. All right, anyone opposed? All right, a verbal. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, thank you so much. All right, we will move on to agenda item number 5. And back to you, Ms. Spinney.
Okay, and I did fail to mention on agenda item number 4, that falls under Act 100 if any of you are following the legislative acts. On number 5, the revision of policy JD, our discipline policy, falls, this amendment is due to Act 439. And if you remember back in 24, there was some additions and amendments made to this discipline policy as it related to retaliation against school employees who may bring to their administrator a student that was not following the expectation, or may have been a classroom disruption. We added a statement that administrators and district officials are not to retaliate against our employees for seeking support for students that may need that extra help in the classroom. And what this Act 439 states is that we are to add the term "or school employee." So now in that existing policy, it is teachers or school employees who are seeking support for disciplinary measures for students may not be retaliated against. And so it's just more inclusive of all of our employees and not simply teachers. So we're just adding that term "or school employee" for your approval tonight.
Do we have a motion? I have a motion by Mr. Faulting to approve. The second by Mr. Bertrand. All those in favor, show hands. Verbal, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? All righty. Thank you so much. All right, and moving on to number 6. Back to you, Mrs. Spinney.
All right, my final agenda item is the revision of 4 of our policies: GAMA, employee smoking, tobacco, and marijuana use; GAMD, drug-free workplace; GAMEB, alcohol and drug testing for our commercial driver's licenses holders; and GAMEA, alcohol and drug testing for general employers. We're updating those in our procedures. The main amendment is that we are adding a policy under our prohibited drugs, prohibited substances, a statement that says marijuana obtained by a prescription from an authorized medical practitioner is now listed under those prohibited. Now, while we've been enforcing that, we wanted to make sure that that was very clear, that medical marijuana is not allowed to be used by our employees. And so that fell under 4 different policies, and so we wanted to make that clear. And Ms. Howe in the HR department, this is becoming more and more prevalent that we're seeing that question may come up from our employees, or the assumption that because it is prescribed by a medical practitioner that it is allowable when indeed it is not. So we're just making that clear in these 4 policies to be in line with our practices.
We have a motion by Mr. Faulting.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bertrand. All those in favor, show of hands. Anyone opposed? Okay, verbal. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you so much. I think that is all we have. Thank you, Mrs. Spinney. You have something else?
And I had one more announcement. I think I got one more quick announcement. A representative from Houghton High School will be here right before the beginning of the board meeting to pass out security badges for any of the board members that will be at Thursday night's event. And so he will come and find you up on the horseshoe before the 6 o'clock meeting. So please make sure you get that from him if you're attending on Thursday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That is meeting adjourned.